Okay, good morning. I'm Jim. You're watching American Garage TV. This is Jim's Speed Shop. We're working on this, I am, 76 Land Cruiser. And picking up where Charlie left off. Gonna finish installing our ARP 12-point stainless bolts. We've got a new brake master and booster coming in. The brake master, which was one of only that I found, that has a special made. Brake boosters are pretty much the same. What differentiates them is the amount of diaphragm, the size, if it's dual or single, and the bolt pattern specifically. So this is a 76, this is all original, this big massive unit here. So we found one and only who has them repopped for them specifically, that incorporates the bolt pattern for Toyota, so I can reuse the same foot pedals, which is great. And then from here on out, it's all GM. And then as far as the bore, we chose 1 1/8. Ordinarily, because it's a disc front, drum rear, it's an inch bore. However, these stock calipers from Toyota, it's a 4-piston caliper, and they're about 1 inch something. It's like 42.4 millimeters. So when you combine it all, it's well over 2.5 to 3 inches in bore. So we need the extra bore on the master, which is this inner rod, this piston that comes through here horizontally. So that's on its way. We got the headers installed, and now I'm rigging up my Moroso tool to take off the harmonic balancer, remove this old, this dates back all the way to the 50s, this timing cover, because we've got this new CVF Racing serpentine kit, and this could potentially be in the way. Plus, notoriously, this motor wasn't anything special. Came with the vehicle, customer just bought it, but most likely they got this from a junkyard. We did a compression check, checked the latch on the valves, and they are fairly consistent. So the motor still has life, but notoriously, these are going to be stock, slopped out, and excessive play on the timing chain. And if you think about that, if that's not tight like a guitar string or straight as an arrow, you know, tight, period, it's like you grabbing a distributor, advance, retard, and you're never going to optimize your performance and your timing. It's always going to be lacking thereof because of that issue. That's one issue. So we're running a flat tappet, the original solid cam that's in here. We've got a Holley 600 carburetor. We took off the EFI. Most people, there's a lot of YouTube videos on EFI versus carburetor, what's easier. Bottom line is, if you know how to do carburetors, it's not rocket science. I get it's a little more laborsome rather than going in and holding a handheld and changing your points and your values. However, the average person, including myself, to go in and out, I mean, that's going to equal time, and your labor is what's going to eat up and cost the customer more. So therefore we opted for the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Carburetor. Fuel adjustment, latch is already done. We're going to have optimum vacuum because it's a stock cam, which is going to be 17 to 19. The power valve in here we're going to have to change. We already know that because it comes stock with a 6.5. So that's upwards of 13 inches of vac. And I left the phone over there. Anyways, so we'll change that, and then we'll read the new spark plugs. We'll see if they're built up or they're too lean. And that's it. It's as simple. I don't have to look at all of them. And then when this isn't really it's a bone stock engine, so it's not like I really got to check the high end on this. As long as I get a smooth transition and it maxes out, and being used and stock, I don't want to see, and look what it's in. There's no way that he needs to be cruising at 55, 6,000 RPMs without eventually blowing a rod or blowing something up. So we're going to finish installing our dampener, or rather our harmonic balancer removal and installer tool, and take that off. We got a new one coming because we're going to take this off, replace this without this piece here. Like I said, this is for an earlier model. change out the, while we're here, it's the best time to change out the chain, because we're also going to be removing the oil pan and changing that out. So let's get started. That's good. Come on, get on there. There we go. That's looking good. Now, I just need to get my wrench and back that out. Shoot, I forgot Mr. Wrench. I'll be right back. There we go. Okay. And if you ever use these tools, you want to make sure that the adapter, the thread on the inside, it's got a jam nut to lock it. Make sure it's snug and don't over tighten it. If it's loose and sloppy, you can break the tool. But this is generally a more superior tool than that of well, you know them. You know who they are. Okay, so she's now slowly coming off. Just do this by hand. And this is a 6.75, 6 3/4 dampener on a stock Chevrolet. The dipstick is on the driver's side, so that means it's an earlier Gen 1. I think it was 1980, somewhere around there, where they switched to the pass neutral balance. And we're going to find that out and verify that. And we've got an aftermarket. It's not SFI approved, it's not necessary, but it's better than stock, and it's the same internal balance, so it won't mess with the balance of the motor, but we know it works well and lines up with the CVF Racing Serpentine. And of course we'll have a new seal on the new timing cover. Now this was a spray can blue, like as if it was done when the motor was installed. Nothing was taped up, cleaned, brushed, or prepped. It was a straight up junkyard motor. So while this thing is opened, seize the opportunity to take the little extra time, clean up, paint. I mean, people in general like this, and just about everything we do, 9.9 times out of 10, they're going to want to have their engine or their stuff looking nice and neat. So this ain't Rust Brothers Incorporated. So okay, now it's getting looser, and just make sure you always grease your threads so you don't dull them, and they work and last forever. I love this tool. I bought this thing years ago for like $100. It's by Moroso, but nowadays the price has gone up, and like everything else, a lot of stuff's not available. Now, this is why you don't want to overdo that. The last thing you want to do is lock that adapter thread into the crank. I mean, yeah, you can get it out, and then you get vice grips or whatever, and you end up gulling the damn thing. The best thing is always to use a double nut method, and make sure it's a grade 8 hardened steel, not that cheap grade 5, that zinc silver, because you want it to hold up. As you lock the two nuts together, what you end up doing is biting on the thread so you can safely remove it. They also have tools, kits for that kind of stuff. Okay, so, it's hard on my gut. We're not going to reuse these, of course. What for? Do you know what it's like? Well, some of you do, but some of you guys don't care to restore. I have a tumbler, but what's the point? You're gonna spend all that time restoring these bolts and the labor. Now, unless you're doing your own stuff in your garage, I guess that's a different story. But still, you're not saving your own time. Hell, they even have stock type bolts if you want to keep it looking stock. We opt for a little bling, and plus we greatly appreciate the quality and the superiority of ARP bolts. So, okay, I got one more on the other side. She locks on the front. So if you ever have to replace that, it's real shady to loosen the bolts all the way on the sides and open the fronts even more as you get closer to the front, so you can drop the pan to work this lip out. Hello and good morning. It's another day, another dollar, and we're back on our 76 Land Cruiser. Bill is just buttoning up. He's already got the new timing chain. Like I said, we always opt to change those out to a better one, so we get a nice tight fit and better performance, better timing, and it basically holds itself. We had to change the harmonic balancer. We got all new gaskets, seals, ARP bolts, everything to match. And now he's just installing the new dampener, and that's neutral balance, small block Chev stock. There's no counterweight, so that's how you can tell. That's a 6.75. And then with the new system, it's not a long, it's a tight water pump, and it's aftermarket. We'll show you that. We showed you on an earlier video. So now I'm going to crawl my big ass underneath this motor and start getting that oil pan installed and buttoning that up. So I will catch you in just a moment. Don't want to bore you with my laying down on the ground like a beached whale. I don't know, you want to see that, Bill? All right, see you in a bit. Whoa. Want a drink? Oh, I think we might select those other headers. I don't know. The paper towel's with me. Jim, it's on my... Okay. Yeah. He didn't drain out the oil. Yeah, thanks for the extra. Hey, you want a drink? Just give me a cup. Give me your glass. It's got 8 essential vitamins, dude. The minerals. Yes, minerals and petroleum. Because that has to come down straight in order to clear over here. I'm good over here. But I've got the starter, so not so much, but moreover this drive shaft. And I have to get in between the drive shaft and the suspension and right over here and clear that nut. I don't know why that's so elongated. I think this is different. Somebody did something there. We're going to get rid of that. Oh, they probably stripped the bolt. We're just going to change the bolt so this doesn't protrude out so much, and we can maximize our exhaust pipe clearance. That's about enough. Oh, look at that. It's damaged, the thread. No surprise. We've got a new oil pan that we're going to show you. Back, I'm going to show you that new pan. It's going to be nice. All right, and then now that cap comes off, and that's it. All right, catch you in a bit. Oh God, I'm getting too old for this shit. All right, just shut off on me. Anywho, let's go ahead and take a look at our new valve cover to be. So some other parts. Aha. None like that. We bought one for our 383, and the difference is, let me get this up here, is this is an earlier gen, so this is a two-piece rear main. It's not as radiused, but these bolt holes here all line up. But the problem was with the other pan, same manufacturer, they were shorter, about a 1/4 inch in. So it was a defective pan. And the difference also, instead of a passenger side dipstick, the predecessor, the earlier gen, is driver side. So that being said, we're waiting on a couple other parts to come in. We just overnighted, what did we overnight? Oh, the header gaskets, Rimflex. We appreciate these over the stock ones. They're very thin and cheap. You know, you have to understand, you buy something, they're just going to get you a run-of-the-mill bolts and gaskets and stuff. It's up to you to spend the extra money and get some premium stuff, some nicer stuff. So anyways, I'm pretty much wrapped up for today. We're going to catch you and hook up tomorrow when we get back to installing all this other stuff. And I got to put this sucker on charge. So we'll see you soon. So hello again, welcome back. It's your boy, Hot Rod Jim. It's another day, another dollar, and still working on the Land Cruiser. So I've been working on taking out the steering column. Somebody's been in this before. We're keeping the same column. So I had a lot to remove and, you know, bag and tag in order to get this sucker out and then get the shaft out. And I had to grind off and cut this assembly that had been welded. Okay, so now Bill's still working on installing the headers, and we're still waiting on parts. So let's go in the back and show you what's going on. Is we've got our shaft out, okay, and then, you know, you just kind of take an eyeball, but I cut a little bit into the outer diameter. It looks like somebody's already cut this out before. But this is our 3/4 round, no spline. You want to keep it that way. That's the buildup from the weld on that other sleeve assembly that I showed you. So we're going to add metal, at least we were. We're going to have to wait until I fix and repair that plug. We're going to add metal around here, and then I'm going to go to Mr. Lathe, and we're going to turn that down and get that all nice and smooth. Sand it down, spray it with some Robar Black. Same thing for the column, the housing, and we're going to reassemble this, and then we're going to mock up from here all the way to the new gearbox with the new conversion, which is going to be a GM power steering conversion kit. And it's the same thing similar that they used on the Jeeps, the CJ5s, the 7s, roughly around, I don't know, 75 to 82, maybe a little later. Anyways, it's the displacement, the kit that comes with it. It's the displacement of where the 4 bolts mount for the gearbox. So you want to make sure that jibes. And then after that, the kit supplies everything else. But we noticed I had to buy 2 new Borgson universal joints, because what they gave us just isn't going to work. So anyways, I'll catch up with you in a bit. I'm going to fix this, get our machine operational again, fill that in, and then we'll get to the lathe. Catch you in a bit. So that's pretty well cleaned up for now. Like I said, it's pretty worn out at the end there, but really want to leave that tip there alone. Let's go and try the fitting and make sure she goes on. Hey, I'm done. You can take them both and take the line back, okay? How's it going? It is right, no, right here. Yep, right there. There's a double D. Okay. So those of you who aren't familiar, these are known as universal joints. They're natural stainless, they're not polished, but they'll do the trick. And most of all, they won't rust. All right, the moment of truth. Oh yeah. And that fits on pretty snug. Yep. So this is going to come out. Let me set this camera down for a minute. It's kind of hard. Oh, jeez. Alrighty. So, there we go. This guy's going to come out here. We're going to mock everything up. And it's going to go from the firewall all the way to the front for the conversion. And he's going to get power steering. And there's his refurbished motor. Still waiting on those parts. So, that's it for today. It's almost closing time. My UPS driver should be here momentarily. I'm going to go clean up. And then we'll catch you again tomorrow when we get to mocking up these parts and get this thing back together and modify it.